Alright guys, so welcome back. Let's go ahead and talk about conditionals and if statement. So another data type is conditional data type, okay? And they're called Boolean. So bool here. A bool value has two possible values, true or false. So let's try print out something like 2 smaller than 3. And let's run this. You can see it's printing out something true, okay? And we can try to print out 2 bigger than 3. Oops, bigger than 3 or greater than 3. You can see we're getting false, okay? So true or false, it's just as what the meaning of the English word means true or false, right? Correct or wrong. So this is comparison operators, and you can compare those two values and see if this one is greater than the other or smaller than the other. Or there are also like print. We can also see if they're the same by typing in 2 equals, and we're getting false because 2 is not equal to 3. Okay. So basically, you can ask, is 2 smaller than 3, right? And the answer is no. The answer is right? So you're getting true, and this one is getting false, and this one is also getting false. So this is an expression, right? And it evaluates to a result, and that result is of the type Boolean, and Boolean again has 2 possible values, true or false. Okay. You can create a variable like results equals to 2 smaller than 3. Right, you can print results, and you got true. Okay, now this result is a variable of the type Boolean, and it stores a true or a false. Okay, and you can print it out. You can see this one is false, and you can try bigger, and you're getting false. Before it was true actually. All right, so this is conditional values, true or false. You can see which one, you can compare bigger or smaller, you can compare if they're the same, or you can also say not equal to, okay? And you can see the third one is true because 2 is not equal to 3. All right, cool. So we can use conditionals in combination of if statement. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. So if statement will basically say if, and then you pass in a value of Boolean. So if true, and then print haha, okay, and then you can see haha got printed, and we can then, if we change this to false, then haha is not printed. Okay, so basically it's gonna say, okay, if something is true or false here, it's gonna evaluate that, and if the evaluation result is true, then whatever after if will be printed, and if it is evaluated to false, then the thing after if will not be printed, or will be skipped basically. Also notice that there is an indentation here, and that indentation means that this line belongs to this if statement. It's the body of the if statement. So whatever after if that does have an indentation will be part of the if. So if we want to add another line, I am happy, none of those will be printed because they all belong to the if. But if this print doesn't have that indentation in front of it, which by the way you can use tab button to indent a line. Tab button will be the button, the third button from the upper left corner of the keyboard, the escape button, right? Go down. All right, now you can run this. You can see I'm happy got printed. It doesn't really care about the if. So even if is the true, both of these will be printed. And if it's false, you can see also the I'm happy will be printed. So it doesn't really care about the if statement. Okay. If nothing is after if statement at all, you got arrow because it does need at least one line that belongs to the body of if. So you need something there. Okay. All right. So we can also use an expression. So we can say, okay, if 2 smaller than 3, right? That's something we're doing here. You know that 2 smaller than 3 is true. So we can try to print out that. So print 2 is smaller than 3. And you can see it's getting printed. Okay. If we create another if, 2 is bigger than 3, and print out like 2 is bigger or greater than 3. And you can see, of course, this one will not be printed out or not be run because this is false, right? 2 bigger than 3, false over here. Okay. You can also use if else. So you have the if here, and afterwards you can also put in an else and column here, and you can print 2 is not greater than 3. You run this one, you can see now 2 is not greater than 3 got printed. So if it's going to go through the process of this if else statement as a whole. It's going to try the first one, right? It's going to try if 2 is bigger than 3, and it's wrong. So this will be skipped and moving on, and then else will be saying, okay, if this doesn't work, right, let's do whatever else after this else. Okay, so the else will be run. Okay, so one of those things will be run based on if this is true or false. If this is true, then this will be run. If this is false, whatever after else will be run. We can also do some other if in between. So we can say else if here in the middle and say 2 is equals to 3, and then we print out 2 is 2 equals 3. Okay, and you can see this one will also not be printed because 2 is not equal to 3. Okay, so it's gonna go through all 3 of these things and try the first one, right? 2 bigger than 3, not true, skip that. 2 equals to 3, not true either, skip that. And then you have the last option, right? And if you don't have the last option, then none of these guys will be printed, right? And also you can have whatever number of else if you wanted to have. So 2 equals to, how about 2 equals to 4, right? And print out 2 equals to 4, and because it's wrong, this else if will not be run either. But let's say we can change this to 2 not equals to 3. You can see 2 equals 3 got printed here because this becomes true, right? 2 is not equals to 3. This is correct. So this got run. And then notice that after this, those will all be ignored because even this one, this else is here. It's not going to run these because this if else kind of like structure or if else structure will only pick one of those guys. It's going to go through this all those conditions, and the first condition that is true will run its body, right? Will run whatever after it, and then it's going to ignore whatever after that. Okay, so even this one becomes true, like 2 not equals to 4. This is true also, right? You run this, you don't really see 2 equals 4 got printed here because it's just going to ignore whatever after the first successful evaluation, the first true. All right, so that's going to be the if and else if else combination with the conditionals. I hope that those make sense. All right, cool.